Hi everybody, today I'm talking about stabilizers when it comes to embroidery. There are many different types to choose from, and this is just a small selection. These are my most used stabilizers. So I typically do mostly burp cloths when it comes to embroidery, and with that in mind, I'm going to kind of move forward with from what I use the most to something that I think you might be interested in and learning about. So my most used one is the iron-on tearaway stabilizer. Now this one you can iron it on. It has one side that's shiny and one side that's a little more rough. The shiny side is the one that you face down and iron on. I personally do not iron on. I use the Sulky KK 2000. So I spray this on, put it on my garment or my burp cloth, and that has worked for me very, very well. Another one, this one is really good for floating items. And if you don't know what that means, you essentially will hoop the stabilizer and then float your burp cloth, bib, or whatever you're working on top, and it will not be hooped. So this is the sticky self-adhesive tearaway stabilizer. And this one is really cool because it has grid marks and lines already on it. You can see these, so it'll help you cut straight lines. And then once you cut it to size, you want to hoop it. And then you will know the rough side goes down and the grid side faces up. And then you will score the grid. And what I mean by that is by taking a sharp needle and lightly scraping it in a pattern. And then you will peel back and sticky will be underneath it. And you will put your garment on top and it will stick down. So that's a Sulky Sticky Stabilizer and how to hoop with that. I, again, mostly just use this one for when I'm floating items on top, such as bibs or onesies, that kind of thing, but I don't do a lot of those. The next one, now this is what people should listen up if they are doing like thin material projects. In my opinion, you need to use a heavy, crisp, or firm stabilizer, and that's what this is. This is this stiffy, firm, and crisp tear-away stabilizer. I'll link all these below. I buy almost all of mine on Amazon. For me personally, that's just easier than going to the store. But this one, you can just tear it away after you do your embroidery item. So with any of these, depending upon your product and what you have going on, you want to choose your bottom stabilizer. And now when it comes to another type of stabilizer I want to talk about, this is the water-soluble stabilizer. There you go. Water-soluble stabilizer. And this I float on top of my work. So if I have a high pile, like for instance a towel, washcloth, or a bathrobe that's squishy, that's called a high pile, I would float the Solvy water-soluble stabilizer on top. This is in addition to your other stabilizer that's on bottom. this would go on top. It's very thin. As you can see straight through this. And this will just tear off once you're done. And then if there's any remaining pieces, it will dissolve in water. Of course, since it's water soluble. And this, why do you need this? You need this to keep the pile from the thick robe or the thick towel, to keep that down so that it's not poking through your design. And that will look very splotchy if you don't use a water-soluble stabilizer on top of your design if you have a high pile. I don't use this on burp cloths or on anything else, but towels, robes, anything that's very thick. The last thing I want to talk about today, it's not a stabilizer actually. It's called Heat and Bond. This is actually Heat and Bond Light. And this is an important piece. This 4-letter word, L-I-T-E. And the reason I mention this is great for lightweight fabrics, quilting, anything really that you will iron this on, and then you will go back, you will iron this on, and then you will go back and stitch your design. And this will keep the two materials from separating. It's machine washable, no steam is required. One of the things I guess I didn't realize I needed this was because I was doing some applique work. And when you do applique, you need to make sure that you have Heat and Bond Light on the back of it before you use it. It will stiffen the product and it will look very clean, crisp, and nice. But this is definitely in addition to any of the stabilizers here that I've been talking about. Why I wanted to say the light is because there is another kind of Heat and Bond. It is very thick, and it's kind of shiny, and this one is not as thick. It's still shiny, but it's not as thick. If you use the regular Heat and Bond, you're gonna gum up your machine and your needle. It's gonna stick, your thread's gonna pull, and it's gonna have a lot of issues. So that is my 101 on stabilizers today. So if you have any questions, just drop a comment below and don't forget to follow.